Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy today's episode.
The royal capital of the giant kingdom was shrouded in silence. All the mountain giants seemed to have lost their souls. Before this, their faith was unwavering. Even though the so-called miracles had never appeared, they still devoutly believed in the Titan true God. They inherited the bloodline of the Thunder Titan clan. They inherited the will of the Thunder Titan. They regarded the Thunder Titan clan as their ancestors and worshipped them as the god of faith. For countless ages, they had always believed that the great Titan true God had been protecting them. They believed in the Titan and followed the direction guided by their tribe. For so many years, the mountain giants had never betrayed their faith in the Titan. The immense power of faith carried within the light spheres showed just how devout the mountain giant clan was. However, now they discovered that everything they had done before was just wishful thinking. The great Titan true God had never paid attention to them. He even turned a blind eye to the faith they had contributed. Or it could be said that the Titan true God had long forgotten them, and they were abandoned believers. How could they accept this? Facing death, the mountain giants could be fearless. But the collapse of their faith could make them feel what despair and fear truly meant. There were even mountain giants who chose to commit suicide on the spot, dying for their faith. And the number of mountain giants choosing suicide was not small, but rather many. They were fanatic believers of the Titan true God and could not accept this reality. Your Majesty, has the ancestral Titan truly abandoned us? I have no law manifestation, but if he hasn't abandoned us, why does the power of faith we contribute to the Titan true God still remain in the idols? Faced with the elder's inquiry, King Von fell into silence. He couldn't answer this question because even his own faith had begun to waver. In the myriad worlds ruled by the gods, a race without the protection of the true God had no future or hope, no matter how high their bloodline rank was. The mountain giants believed in the Titan. The dragons in the dragon's nest believed in the dragon god. Advertisement. The nature elves believed in the nature and elf goddess. Even the humans in the fertile lands had their own beliefs, such as the goddess of light, the goddess of darkness, the goddess of alchemy, the goddess of magic, and so on. All intelligent beings had their own god of faith. Regardless of whether these gods of faith held high or low positions, in the eyes of their believers, they were supreme, and they prayed to receive their protection. This was the survival law of countless intelligent races in the myriad worlds. But now, the mountain giant clan, who devoutly believed in the Titan true God, had been abandoned by their own god of faith without their knowledge. And they had been deceived for so many years. Looking at the despairing eyes of the elder and the despairing eyes of the kingdom's high-ranking officials and saint-rank powerhouses, King Von took a deep breath and slowly said, I can sense that there are countless Titan true gods in the endless void, where they have their own divine realms. This inexplicable feeling is the connection of faith. The great Titan true gods have not abandoned us. They have not descended with miracles or taken away the faith from the idols. It only indicates one thing, that this world prohibits the descent of the Titan true gods. King Von's words not only comforted the elder and the high-ranking officials, but also comforted himself, because he knew how devastating it would be for the giant kingdom to lose their faith. It would even affect other giant races in this world. They are all worshippers of the true God, the Titans. How could they allow their faith to crumble? Soon, King Von's words spread throughout the entire capital, giving a glimmer of hope to countless despairing giants and temporarily boosting their morale. The great true God, the Titans, has always favored us. If we die gloriously in battle, we will have the chance to return to the embrace of the true God. The Titans are supreme. The Titans are supreme. Inside the city, countless giants roared in madness. Angry giants swung their war hammers and shouted, That angel has stolen the power of faith that we dedicated to the true God. We must kill her and reclaim our faith. Kill, kill, kill. For a moment, the furious cries of slaughter filled the entire capital, even tearing through the clouds in the sky. Advertisement. But at this moment, Intense beams of light descended from the sky. Amidst the violent explosions, the city suffered immense casualties once again. The bombardment from the City of Angels not only destroyed a large number of magical cannons within the city, it also killed tens of thousands of giants. This was because, due to the angle, only the magical cannons on one side of the city walls could attack the giant capital. If all the sacred magical cannons and the luminous giant cannons on all four sides of the city walls could be used, the 2 rounds of attacks would have completely devastated the giant army within the city. But even so, these 2 rounds of attacks were enough to severely damage the morale and fearlessness of the giants. "Your Majesty," the Grand Elder urgently said, "if we allow the City of Angels to continue bombarding us like this, our capital will be reduced to ruins sooner or later, and the casualties within the city's army will be extremely heavy. By then, it will be even more difficult to repel the angelic army." In reality, he was already considering an escape route. But not his own escape route, but the escape route for the tribe. Just as King Von said, he had already put 1 foot in the grave, so it didn't matter if he died. What was important was the future of the tribe. They were brave giants and not afraid of death, but that didn't mean they were foolish. Knowing that they couldn't win, yet still going to their deaths, would be pure stupidity, no different from a block of wood or a 2-headed demon. "Yasha, we cannot retreat from this war." King Von knew what the Grand Elder was thinking. But as the ruler of the kingdom, he couldn't flee from battle otherwise, even if he successfully escaped. What face would he have to continue sitting on the throne? "Great Prophet, follow me and attack the City of Angels." "As you command, Your Majesty." Without hesitation, 2 figures emanating the terrifying aura of demigods rushed towards the City of Angels. Behind them, the Grand Elder and other high-ranking members of the kingdom were in a state of panic. "Grand Elder, what should we do?" "Charge forward." The Grand Elder gritted his teeth and said, "Wherever His Majesty is, we will be there. Even if it costs us our lives, we must help His Majesty break through the defenses of the City of Angels." Upon hearing this, the high-ranking members nodded in agreement. In the next moment, thousands of figures soared into the sky. Among them, there were nearly 100 saint-rank powerhouses, while the rest were transcendent professionals. Almost at the same time, the intense sound of artillery suddenly ceased. Immediately after, a dense swarm of holy angels flew out from the City of Angels, like a torrent, crashing into the legion of powerful warriors from the giant kingdom. The mountain giants are not afraid of war, and the angels are equally fearless. In the myriad worlds, the angel race has gained a formidable reputation as a warrior race. In this regard, the Thunder Titan clan, which the mountain giants believe in, cannot compare to the angels. To put it bluntly, the holy demon war that took place millions of years ago. If it weren't for the divine angels leading the charge and sweeping through all directions, the myriad worlds battlefield would have changed hands long ago. How could the powerful races, including the Thunder Titan clan, overlook the myriad worlds? Dare to come out? Seeing a large number of high-ranking angels flying out of the City of Angels, King Von and the Great Prophet were not surprised but delighted, because these high-ranking angels were the core main force of the angel army, the highest being saint rank, the lowest being transcendent. If these high-ranking angels were killed, the ordinary angels would not be a concern. At least they believed that the fearless army of mountain giants could definitely defeat those ordinary angels on the battlefield. After all, they had more numbers. There were only tens of thousands of ordinary angels in the City of Angels, but their elite mountain giants in the capital had a scale of hundreds of thousands. In addition, a large number of mountain giant warriors gathered from all directions, and the overall strength of the army would only become stronger with a complete chance of annihilating this angel army. Of course, the premise was that the City of Angels would no longer continue to bombard the capital. Without any hesitation, King Von and the Great Prophet immediately released their respective powers of law. The power of law, the power of thunder. In addition, the Great Prophet also mastered an additional law of wind. Wind combined with thunder creates a storm. If this great prophet obtained an extraordinary opportunity and successfully achieved the reverse evolution of bloodline, she would have a high chance of directly advancing to become a Storm Titan. The Storm Titan and the Thunder Titan are different titans. There is no stronger or weaker, just different powers of law. But if they must be compared, the former may have a slight advantage. The power of law from King Vaughn and the great prophet directly manifested as a purple sea of thunder, sweeping towards the high-ranking angels coming towards them. They intended to destroy the core main force of the angel army. Advertisement. However, this kind of thing was impossible to happen, because Angelia, who was leading this war, would not let these high-ranking angels die in vain. She waved her right hand. The space within a radius of 10,000 meters instantly distorted, and centered around King Vaughn and the great prophet, the space within several thousand kilometers directly collapsed, shattering the vast purple sea of thunder, and quickly reassembled, forming an independent space that enveloped the two demigod-level mountain giants. With just one move, the crisis of the high-ranking angels was resolved. They did not slow down and continued to charge towards the high-level and powerful beings of the giant kingdom. Soon, the war broke out. Thousands of powerful mountain giants against approximately 1,000 high-ranking angels. It was almost a 4-to-1 ratio. But even with such an unequal ratio, as soon as they engaged in battle, many powerful mountain giants were instantly killed. The high-ranking angel army, led by the 8-winged angels, was like a bulldozer, overwhelming the mountain giant powerhouses, who were no match at all. At the same time, endless rays of light fell from the void, enveloping the powerful mountain giants on the battlefield. Those were the faith spells from the divine art-level angel. Pink arrows also shot through, piercing one mountain giant powerhouse after another. These were the love arrows from the angel of love. Any mountain giant powerhouse hit by the love arrows would immediately appear by the side of their beloved in the first moment. War and such things are no longer important to them. What is important is igniting the spark of love. This has also accelerated the collapse of the camp of the powerful mountain giants. At first glance, the camp composed of thousands of powerful mountain giants is already in chaos. Some are being chased by angels. Some are expressing their love for each other. Some have twisted expressions as they resist the erosion of their souls by faith magic. In short, everything is a mess. In the rear, Angelia stands on the city wall of the City of Angels. She seems to have anticipated such a battle situation. As early as yesterday, she gained a deep understanding of the strength of the Giant King's capital through the intelligence provided by the 3 mountain giants, Woodrow, Agatiki, and Banate. After yesterday's day and night hunting, coupled with the practice in the spirit field, many angels have achieved bloodline evolution and ascended to higher positions and levels. Looking at the entire Holy Angel Army, there are nearly 180,000 troops. Among them, there are already more than 50 angels at the Saint rank level and nearly 1,000 angels at the Transcendent level. With such a lineup, they can completely sweep the legion of the Giant Kingdom's powerful warriors. Advertisement. That's why Angelia dispatched the Fallen Angel Legion to clean up the surrounding cities and tribes. Otherwise, she wouldn't have divided her forces. By the way, the first fallen angel summoned by Lin Yu, Gladys, also achieved bloodline evolution last night, advancing from a 6-winged angel to an 8-winged angel. Her level directly soared to the peak of the Saint rank. She is just one step away from being a demigod. And Gladys's current strength is already comparable to that of an early-stage demigod. Although she is not as abnormal as in me, she is still very powerful. At this moment, she is leading several reorganized fallen angel legions to attack a mountain giant city that is not weak in strength. Under the leadership of the 8-winged fallen angel, Gladys, those fallen angel legions are like gods killing gods and people killing people. They are like entering an uninhabited land. In no time, they captured that mountain giant city. Lady Angelia. A phantom figure suddenly appeared and respectfully said, "With my power, I can easily kill those 2 demigod-level mountain giants without the need for Lady to take action." And Secretary glanced at the phantom figure. "If you kill them, How can I improve my realm? Now is not the time to plunder the origin of this floating island world. I apologize, lady. 12-winged throne angel, Vivian, thought about it and realized that an secretary was right, so she quickly lowered her head and retreated. Her figure disappeared and returned to the statue in the center of the City of Angels. At the same time, Angelia's figure also disappeared into thin air. When she reappeared, she was already in the sealed independent space. At this moment, King Vaughn and the Great Prophet, two demigod-level mountain giants, were frantically releasing the power of the laws, trying to break through the barrier of the independent space and escape. The situation outside made them extremely anxious and shocked. A ratio of 4-to-1. The number of Saint Rank mountain giants is also twice that of Saint Rank angels. And they can't win? It's simply a joke. Just at this moment, a beautiful figure appeared in the independent space. This immediately made King Vaughn and the Great Prophet alert. For them, this 10-winged angel is not easy to provoke and is incredibly powerful. Your Majesty, be careful. This is an angel who controls the laws of space. The Great Prophet held a bone-made scepter and stood one step ahead of King Vaughn. Her rank was higher than King Vaughn's, reaching the demigod late stage. She should be the one standing in front. In the presence of this extraordinarily beautiful 10-winged angel, she also sensed a great crisis and even felt a sense of panic for no reason. And this feeling, only the world's peak powerhouses, the Beast Emperor, the Dragon Emperor, and the Elf Queen, have given her such a feeling before. Peak demigod, someone who has ignited the divine fire but has not yet condensed the divine nature. Their strength is many times stronger than that of a late-stage demigod. But this 10-winged angel in front of her, clearly only in the early stage of demigod, gave her a feeling of facing a peak demigod, making her both shocked and incredulous. Fortunately, it's not the legendary 12-winged angel. Otherwise, we would have no chance of winning. Many powerful races know that the rank of an angel represents their strength. At the same level, the strength of a 12-winged angel far surpasses that of a 10-winged angel. Even in the myriad worlds battlefield, the appearance of a 12-winged angel is enough to shake a vast region and make countless races and deities wary. Generally speaking, 12-winged angels always appear as the commanders of an angel army. 6-winged angels, 8-winged angels, and 10-winged angels are all legion commanders under the 12-winged angel. The title of commander of the army is not on the same level as legion commander. According to ancient records, the 12-winged angels that appeared in the myriad worlds battlefield back then were not ordinary true gods. Each one of them was a supreme god who wielded great divine power. Supreme gods, the masters of the divine realm. Countless true gods under their command. Much stronger than lower gods, middle gods, and upper gods. This is the 12-winged angel of the angel race. The renowned top-tier angels. King Vaughn took a deep breath and looked at Angelia, who stood elegantly in the distance, and said, I am Vaughn, the ruler of the giant kingdom. I hope we can resolve this dispute peacefully. Compared to the Great Prophet, he felt a greater threat from this 10-winged angel. The terrifying aura emanating from her made him involuntarily want to look up. This made him have little confidence in the upcoming battle. Secretarian, with an indifferent expression, said, Our Lord is merciful and benevolent, redeeming the myriad worlds with the holy light. I give you two choices. Embrace the holy light, believe in our Lord, and obtain eternal life, or I will directly purify your body and soul. Upon hearing this, King Vaughn's face changed, but soon returned to normal. Receiving such a response, he didn't seem to find it strange. Angels are just like this. King Vaughn said in a deep voice, My giant kingdom will never blaspheme the faith in the Titan true God. What Titan true God? Just a later generation of Thunder Titans? Angelia walked slowly. With each step she took, a dazzling halo would ripple around her. Each halo represented a kind of rule power she mastered. Space, sacredness, light, annihilation, judgment, sanction, divine punishment. One after another, rule halos emerged, making the already sacred and noble Angelia appear even more dignified, like the supreme god walking in the world. Seeing this scene, King Von and the Great Prophet were so shocked that their eyeballs almost fell out. Let's not talk about King Von. The Great Prophet had lived for over 2,000 years, experienced 3 generations of kings in the Giant Kingdom, and had seen almost all the demigod powerhouses in this world, including the Dragon Emperor and the Elf Queen. Advertisement. It can be said that she had seen every demigod in this world, except for the Medusa Queen who ruled the deep sea. However, she had never seen a demigod who could control such a large number of rules. At most, it was only 4 or 5. Firstly, there were talent limitations. The more rules one comprehended, the difficulty would increase exponentially. Secondly, the number of rules was related to the success probability of igniting the divine fire and condensing the divine nature. The more rules one mastered, the more difficult it would be to become a god. Who would dare to joke about their path to godhood? However, the 10-winged angel in front of her displayed so many rule halos that she had a feeling of countless, with hundreds of different attributes of rules. How terrifying was this talent? And how astonishing was this courage? Under these circumstances, becoming a god was basically impossible. There was even a high probability that she would be burned to ashes by the divine fire during the process of igniting it, because there were too many rules. Correspondingly, the power of the divine fire would be more terrifying. She's doomed. The Great Prophet muttered to herself. This was not a curse, but based on her understanding of the path to godhood, she firmly believed that the beautiful 10-winged angel in front of her could not pass the test of igniting the divine fire. Of course, this was of no help to her and King Von's current predicament. On the contrary, facing a terrifying angel who possessed at least hundreds of rule powers, the ones who were doomed were her and King Von. Just now, she thought that the strength of this angel might be comparable to that of a peak demigod. Now it seemed that she had seriously underestimated it. What kind of peak demigod could be so abnormal? Not even a true god could. Setting aside divine power, even if the true god were to descend, they would still be crushed by her. Your Majesty, the enemy is too strong. You should retreat. As long as your Majesty is alive, our giant clan will have hope for the future. I will stop this angel. The Great Prophet wasted no time and quickly transmitted a message to King Von. You cannot escape. Before King Von could respond, Angelia spoke. She intercepted the Great Prophet's spiritual thoughts. In this independent space created by her, she seemed to be omnipotent. Secretarian glanced at the Great Prophet and said, "You are on the verge of death, with average talent. The hope of becoming a god is slim. Your value lies in dying by my hands and helping me ascend to the mid-stage of demigod. As for your king, I can spare his life. The followers of the Titans never fear death." King Von was quite tough. Without waiting for the Great Prophet to persuade him again, he swung the 2 giant hammers in his hands and summoned terrifying purple thunderbolts to strike Angelia. The power was so strong that even a 1,000-meter mountain would be easily shattered. Annihilation. Angelia flicked her finger. A terrifying force of law swept through. In an instant, the thunderbolts in the sky dissipated, and even the 2 giant hammers in King Von's hands exploded directly. King Von immediately spewed out blood, severely injured. Your Majesty! The Great Prophet exclaimed in shock. She raised the bone staff in her hand and summoned violent storm tornadoes imbued with endless thunderbolts to engulf Angelia. Wherever they passed, the space twisted. If this were the outside world, the space would definitely be torn apart. Advertisement. But this was Secretary Anne's independent space, with hundreds of laws suppressing it, making it almost indestructible. So even if the Great Prophet risked her life, she could only cause a slight distortion in the space. Only Secretary Anne pulled out a flaming angel sword from the void, with a gentle slash forward. Instantly, all the storm and thunderbolts were cut into nothingness. Whether it was King Von or the Great Prophet, their full attacks were like child's play in front of Secretary Anne, easily dispelled with a snap of her fingers. Judgment. Secretarian pointed the divine sword in her hand. Instantly, a radiant holy sword descended from the sky, directly piercing the great prophet. The great prophet immediately tried to escape, but found that the space around her was imprisoned. She showed a look of despair for a moment. Just at that moment, King Von's massive figure unexpectedly turned into a lightning bolt and unhesitatingly stood in front of the great prophet. Poochie. King Von was directly pierced by the holy sword, blood splattering. Seeing this scene, Angelia was also stunned. She didn't expect that the giant clan's king would be willing to sacrifice himself for others. This exceeded her expectations. "Your Majesty!" The great prophet cried out in grief. Her body was imprisoned, and she could only watch as the golden flames engulfed King Von's body. This was the legendary angel holy flame. It could incinerate everything in the world. It could purify all evil and darkness. If nothing unexpected happened, King Von would be burned to ashes by the angel holy flame. But at this moment, the holy flame on King Von's body extinguished, and another radiant holy light enveloped him, dissipating the pained expression on his face. A divine spell directly pulled King Von back from the gates of the underworld. Angelia glanced at him sideways. "Did you ask me if you wanted to die? Behave and prepare to become a follower of my lord." King Von remained silent. Is it so difficult to die these days? Secretarian no longer paid attention to him. She didn't even look at the stunned great prophet. Instead, she turned her gaze to the forbidden land of the giant kingdom, where a towering Titan statue stood hundreds of meters tall. At some point, that Titan statue had been enveloped in divine light, and purple thunderbolts kept bursting out. This caused countless giant clan members in the city to cheer, thinking that it was a miracle from the true god of the Titans. And indeed it was. After a moment, the towering statue unexpectedly moved. Like a giant stone figure, it forcibly tore through the mountain behind it, which was the forbidden land. It stood up, facing the city of angels floating in the sky. Its head had been blasted off, but everyone could feel that it was gazing at the city of angels, or rather, staring at Secretarian in the independent space. At the same time, thunderous voices resounded from within the Titan statue, as if an immortal deity was whispering, exuding a majestic divine power. "Under the crown of Angelia, I have heard of your legend. That was already millions of years ago." Bang, bang, bang. The earth trembles, and the capital city shakes. It is the towering Titan statue, hundreds of meters tall, walking. Each step can shake the earth, like an ancient giant, full of oppression. With one step, it directly crushes the majestic central temple, yet it pays no attention, always facing the direction of the independent space, gazing at the elegant and beautiful and secretary. Inside the city, countless mountainous giants are cheering. Fanatic believer is glad that he did not commit suicide, because a miracle has come. After countless ages, a miracle has finally descended upon the giant kingdom. This shows that the great Titan true God has not abandoned them, but has always been watching. Now, as the giant kingdom is in disaster, the Titan true God has timely descended, clearly to save them. For a moment, the morale of the mountainous giant army soars. Their fighting spirit becomes even more intense. In the battlefield high above, thousands of high-ranking members and powerful individuals of the giant kingdom, upon discovering the descent of the Titan true God, temporarily increase their combat power and withstand the attacks from the high-ranking archangels. Titans above all, glory forever. Countless mountainous giants are fervently shouting, their voices tearing through the clouds in the sky. Now, they no longer have fear. All they have is excitement and anticipation, because they believe they have been saved. The great Titan true God will surely be able to defeat the evil angel army and even destroy the terrifying city of angels, saving them from danger. In the independent space, the great prophet and the resurrected King Von are also filled with excitement. They can hardly believe that the Titan true God has truly descended. For their mountainous giant clan, this is simply a miracle, a ray of light in the dark abyss. Although it is not the true body of the Titan true God that has descended, only a divine consciousness incarnation. But I believe there should be no problem defeating a demigod-level tin-winged angel. This is the thought of the great prophet and King Vaughn. However, there is one thing that puzzles and confuses them greatly. The Titan true God they believe in actually refers to the tin-winged angel as under the crown, and even claims to have heard of the legends she created tens of millions of years ago. Advertisement. This is a big problem. First of all, how can a demigod-level angel live for tens of millions of years? Isn't that the realm of immortality for true gods? Furthermore, if one has lived for tens of millions of years, how can they still be just a demigod? Even the most foolish pigeon people can become gods after living for so long. Secondly, the Titan true God who has descended refers to the tin-winged angel as under the crown, which is the most incredible part, because only the highest gods can be bestowed with the title of under the crown. For example, the light goddess under the faith of the Holy Sea, the nature and elf goddess under the creation of the nature elf clan, and the fate goddess low grade who is said to control the river of destiny. In addition, the ruler of the Thunder Titan clan they believe in is also an under the crown. Could it be? The elegant and beautiful tin-winged angel before their eyes is a supreme deity? How is that possible? After all, if it were a supreme deity, a single glance could kill the two of them, or even destroy this world with a snap of the fingers. Just at this moment, Angelia suddenly speaks, her voice indifferent. Who are you? Her golden eyes fall upon the Titan statue. It's like searching for familiar traces. The Titan statue thundered, I am just a small, intermediate god under the command of Divine King, not worth remembering by the famous Angelia. Intermediate god? That's indeed an insignificant existence. Angelia indifferently said, I pierced through time and arrived in this world, giving you all the opportunity to display miracles. The Titan statue said, Thank you, Your Majesty, for allowing me to protect the believers of this world. I hope Your Majesty can spare these humble mountain giants. I can assure Your Majesty, they will not be an obstacle for the Angel Legion to conquer this world. Angelia glanced at it and said, Insignificant existence, where does the face come from? Hearing this, the Titan statue fell silent. The Titans, who controlled the primal force of thunder, were known for their irritable and hot-tempered nature. If they couldn't reason, they would fight. If they couldn't win an argument, they would start a war. That was the style of the Titans. Advertisement. However, it didn't mean that the Titans were without brains. The Titan statue said in a deep voice, Your Majesty Angelia, after millions of years of development, the myriad world's battlefield is no longer the same as when it was oppressed by the angel race. With the help of countless floating islands, the gods of various races have emerged one after another. Compared to millions of years ago, our strength has become stronger. Even if there is another holy demon war, the power of our major races alone is enough to win. The reappearance of the angel race in the world is a good thing. But they should also abide by the new order, otherwise there will be great calamity. Secretarian narrowed her eyes and said, Are you threatening me? The Titan statue replied, Of course not. I just want to inform Your Majesty that the order of the myriad world's battlefield has been re-established. The major divine domains are developing harmoniously. There were supreme gods who wanted to destroy the peace and stability of the myriad world's battlefield, but their whereabouts are still unknown. Upon hearing this, a faint smile appeared on Angelia's beautiful and cold face. Very beautiful, but also very cold. The Titan statue immediately said, Your Majesty, please don't be angry. I am just stating a fact. Angelia's voice was cold as she said, Is this what you said, or what Clovis said? The Titan statue said, Clovis, Your Majesty, doesn't know that the angel race has descended into this world. I plan to report it to Clovis, Your Majesty, later. Angelia said, That's a pity. As she spoke, a huge 18-winged angel shadow appeared behind her. Seeing the dazzling holy angel shadow, the Titan statue's body trembled. After a moment, it said, "Why bother, Your Majesty? My divine body is located in the Titan divine domain. Even if you cut off this divine thought of mine, it won't cause much damage to me. I'll say it again. Please give me face, Your Majesty. Take your angel legion and withdraw from the area of the giant kingdom. What level are you at that I should give you face?" Secretarian shouted coldly and directly swung the angel divine sword in her hand towards the Titan statue. Behind her, the dazzling 18-winged angel shadow merged into the divine sword and turned into a brilliant sword light that instantly struck the towering Titan statue. Immediately, a scream came from the Titan statue. Then, the owner of the voice seemed to have discovered something and screamed in horror. "The sword of fate that can destroy everything? How is this possible?" With a bang, the Titan statue crumbled. At the same time, in the distant and different time and space of the Titan divine domain, a Titan main god with a height of 10,000 meters and a majestic aura shouted in despair, "Your Majesty, save me." But before he finished speaking, a mouthful of golden blood sprayed out of his mouth. Then, he groaned and fell to the ground. A pair of golden eyes filled with despair stared wide open, as if unwilling to close even in death. If given the chance, he really wanted to say, "Legends are really damn unreliable." The world fell into silence. Inside and outside the city, all the towering giants of the mountains stared in astonishment at the crumbling statue of the Titan god. The mighty Titan, the true god, was actually slain by a single sword? Although what was destroyed was only a divine thought, it was still the divine thought of the Titan true god. In the hearts of the towering giants, the Titan true god was supreme and invincible. Even if only a divine thought descended into this world, it would be unparalleled and able to suppress all opponents. But this is the result? For a moment, the faith in the hearts of the towering giants collapsed once again, even more desperate than before. In the high-altitude battlefield, the camp of the strong and the giant kingdom instantly crumbled. The thousands of high-ranking and powerful individuals were scattered and fled by the high-ranking angels, and the courageous towering giants were all defeated under the swords of the angelic gods. Many high-ranking and powerful individuals finally couldn't resist the angels' faith magic at this moment. They abandoned the darkness and turned to the Lord of Holy Light, becoming his followers. At the same time, they followed the footsteps of the high-ranking angels and suppressed the high-ranking individuals and powerful individuals of other kingdoms. On the other side, the angelic army gathered in the city of angels also mobilized. The 150,000 holy angels turned into a mighty force and flew out of the city of angels, heading straight for the giant capital below. Now is the most vulnerable time for the faith and will of the towering giants. Starting a war is enough to deliver a fatal blow to this capital. In addition, spreading the faith of the Lord of Holy Light at this time is also the most appropriate opportunity to easily convert a large number of towering giant believers. War broke out and quickly engulfed every corner of the capital. Intense battle scenes could be seen everywhere, because there were still many towering giants resisting stubbornly. But now, they were not fighting for the glory of the Titans, but for the giant kingdom, for their own race. As the battle continued, these stubbornly resisting towering giants suddenly discovered something very strange. That is, the enemy kept increasing as they fought. At first, their opponents were angels. Advertisement. Not long after, towering giants joined the battle. However, the towering giants who joined the battle were not helping them resist the angels' attacks, but helping the angels suppress them. After a while, their enemies were only towering giants. What's going on? It was also under such circumstances that more and more towering giants couldn't hold on. Either they fell on the battlefield, or they knelt under the shroud of faith magic. In the high altitude, in an independent space, Angelia swung her sword and killed the imprisoned great prophet. Almost at the same time, the aura emanating from her body surged several times again. Her level increased. From the early stage of demigod, she advanced to the mid-stage of demigod. Great prophet. Not far away, King Vaughn cried out in grief. Although the great prophet always addressed him as Your Majesty, in his heart, the great prophet was both his elder and his teacher. Without the constant companionship and guidance of the great prophet, he would not be where he is today. Watching the great prophet's body quickly turn to ashes under the engulfing flames of the angelic holy fire, King Vaughn could no longer restrain himself. He took out a spare giant sword from his spatial equipment and charged towards Angelia to kill her. Then, he was imprisoned. Holy radiance emerged from the void, enveloping King Vaughn. Soon, the expression on King Vaughn's face twisted. He was trying to resist the erosion of his soul by the divine magic of faith with his strong will. Although witnessing the destruction of the divine consciousness of the Titan true God had dealt him a huge blow, his will remained firm. He would never betray the thunder and embrace the holy light. For the kingdom, for the tribe, King Vaughn roared in a ferocious manner. 2 seconds later, he kneeled, praising the Lord of Holy Light devoutly. Advertisement. Angelia waved her right hand, and the independent space collapsed. Then, with a calm expression, she said, "Go help the angelic legion subdue the mountain giants in the city and redeem their faith." "Yes, Your Holiness." King Vaughn respectfully withdrew and headed straight for the distant aerial battlefield. As for Angelia, she put away her angelic divine sword and closed her beautiful golden eyes, establishing a connection with a certain entity in the depths of the universe. "Angelia, you told me before that your holy angelic clan abides by the rules, but now it seems that you are even more outrageous than Astia." A voice from the depths of the universe resounded in Angelia's mind. Cold, rigid, yet filled with anger. Clearly very angry. Angelia responded, "You can't blame me for this. It was your own negligence that allowed the divine consciousness of that nameless main god to descend into this world. The foreign race that violates the rules must die. I am repairing the space-time and interdimensional teleportation array, so I didn't pay attention. Damn it. You shattered the space-time and interdimensional teleportation array. I'm just cleaning up your mess. Enough. Stop complaining. Our angelic clan will leave this world as soon as possible." Angelia said, "The myriad world's battlefield is the target of our Lord. As a lost spirit of a broken world, our Lord doesn't even care about you. Just focus on your own tasks, and there will be benefits for you in the future." "But you're cheating." The voice from the depths of the universe was very angry, but deliberately lowered its voice and said, "If the boss finds out, I'm done for. Don't forget, the boss is the one controlling everything. I'm just a worker without overtime pay." Angelia said, "When I follow our Lord into the myriad world's battlefield and restore my peak divine power, I will forge a divine body for you to help you leave this world and gain freedom." "Really?" "Trust me, I never make promises lightly." "Then I'll trust you one last time. I'll pretend I didn't see what happened just now. Also, don't play tricks on me anymore. I'm just a worker, with a heavy workload and no commission. If I get fired, I won't be able to support my family." "Where did you learn all these words?" "From those professionals. I often eavesdrop on them." Angelia fell silent, then asked, "Why did that nameless Titan main god appear in this world?" "Didn't he say it himself? He came to protect the mountain giant kingdom. Those mountain giants are true believers of their Titan clan." "Tell me something that will make me believe." "Our boss has hidden something very important in the floating island world, which is said to be related to the holy demon war of the past. But I don't know which floating island world it is hidden in." "What is it?" "I don't know either." "You know, our boss's power is comparable to your Lord of Holy Light. What it wants to do, we workers have no idea." "Comparable to our Lord? Who gave you the confidence?" "It's noon. Over here in Paradise Town. Lin Yu leads by example and personally teaches Radiant Saintess Tiffany the path of a kitchen maid. During this time, he doesn't forget to take a look at the elf light sphere formed by the dark elf mother tree, emitting divine and luminous magical fluctuations. More than 3 hours have passed, and the light sphere remains unchanged. This is the first time such a situation has occurred. If nothing unexpected happens, The elf born this time must be very special, most likely an ancient great elf who possesses sacred and luminous powers. Lunch is ready, and Lin Yu calls Tiffany to eat together. Little Lolita Seating also needs to eat. However, her lunch is different from that of normal people. I saw little Lolita go to the northwest area of the town and transform into a giant black bone blood vine towering hundreds of meters, directly devouring the blood, bones, and organs of the monsters decomposed by the local believers. These things are her food. They can promote her strength improvement. When she has nothing to do, she also goes to the spirit field to practice, trying to use the special substances in the spirit field space to once again achieve bloodline evolution and breakthrough. If she is lucky enough to evolve again, little Lolita Sitong will have the growth potential of a true god. Right now, she is in the early stage of demigod, and at most, she can reach the peak of demigod. Only by achieving bloodline evolution again can her future become brighter. But I think Everlasting Flower will probably be furious. The taste is not bad. Lin Yu takes a bite of the dish and a bite of spirit rice. He slightly appreciates Radiant Saintess Tiffany's cooking skills. The taste of Tiffany's dishes naturally cannot compare to that of six-winged seeker Angel Elena, but considering it's her first time, being able to cook something decent is already very good. The requirements don't need to be too high. Radiant Saintess sits upright on the side, eating in small bites. Her temperament is very gentle. Upon hearing Lin Yu's words, she immediately relaxes and becomes extremely excited, expressing her determination to continue working hard. At this moment, Lin Yu suddenly thinks of something. Advertisement. Using his mind to communicate with the town's warehouse, he takes out a bottle several centimeters tall. He also brings 2 small bowls. He pours the white liquid from the bottle into the bowls. Try this. This is. Radiant Saintess Tiffany senses the pure life force emanating from the liquid in the bowl and exclaims in surprise, "The water of life from the natural elf clan?" That's right. Lin Yu nods and says with a smile, "This was presented by Woodlow and Agutiki from the Mountain Giant Kingdom, representing the friendship between the Elf Garden and the Giant Kingdom." Tiffany respectfully takes the small bowl handed to her by Lin Yu. She carefully places it in front of herself and says, "It is rumored that the water of life is a sacred healing item. Even if one's limbs are severed, they can be regrown with the help of the water of life." Unfortunately, the relationship between our Radiant Church and the Natural Elf Clan is not very good. Those elves are worried that we will spread our faith in their territory, so they never interact with us, and the water of life rarely appears in the bountiful Great Lands. It's okay. There will be more of these things in the future. Lin Yu lifts the small bowl and drinks all the water of life inside. It doesn't have any particular taste. It's just like drinking pure milk. The contained life energy within it is indeed extremely vast. Lin Yu could feel energy erupting within his body. Although it didn't push his level from Saint Rank mid-stage to Saint Rank late stage, there was still some improvement. If he continues to drink it like this for a long time, promoting to the peak of Saint Rank is only a matter of time. If we were to sell this water of life on Blue Star, I believe we could sell it for a sky-high price. Regenerating severed limbs, healing all ailments, and even extending the lifespan of mortals. This is the coveted treasure that countless humans dream of. However, Lin Yu has no intention of doing such a thing. Money on Blue Star is already meaningless to him now. He plans to treat the water of life as his daily beverage, taking a few sips from time to time. Perhaps one day, his level will skyrocket. Shortly after the full-scale war between the Angel Army and the Mountain Giant Kingdom began, his level broke through and promoted to the mid-stage of Saint Rank. His current goal is to reach the peak of Saint Rank. Then, comprehend the power of the laws and strive for demigod. Of course, it's not just the laws. The power of faith must also be mastered. Advertisement. As the Lord of Holy Light, the deity of the angel race, becoming the god of faith is his greatest advantage, allowing him to possess immense divine power in a short period of time. What Lin Yu is thinking now is faith and laws, both at the same time. This way, his divine power will not fall short. In fact, within the entire angel camp, He is the only one who is a faith deity. The other angels, including his secretarian, also possess the power of the laws. Once they become gods in the future, she will also be a deity of the laws, not the god of faith. Because the faith power of the angel camp is concentrated in the Lord of Holy Light. This is also one of the reasons why the divine power of the Lord of Holy Light is incredibly strong. While eating, Lin Yu pondered, to comprehend the power of the laws, I can only rely on myself. The world rules of Floating Island will no longer provide direct assistance like when I promoted to Saint rank. When I promoted to Saint rank, I mastered 3 types of power: holy, light, and the power of creation. The power of creation is a kind of power that even the world rules of Floating Island don't know about. It is displayed as unknown on his information panel. The reason Lin Yu knows about it is that he asked Angelia. He obtained the answer from his secretary. At the same time, he also learned how incredible the power of creation is. The Lord of Holy Light is the God of faith, but it doesn't mean that the Lord of Holy Light cannot use the power of the laws. On the contrary, the Lord of Holy Light can use the power of all laws. And these powers of the laws are created by burning the power of faith with the power of creation as the catalyst. Therefore, the Lord of Holy Light is omnipotent and omniscient. Next, I will focus on the power of creation, with holy and light as the foundation, comprehend and control my own power of the laws. Once successful, even without consuming the power of faith, I can still use the laws. Lin Yu also hopes to feel strong. He can't rely on the angels for everything. One day, he will manifest his divinity and suppress all races. Yes, let's start with this world. After lunch, Lin Yu took another look at the light sphere, but there was still no movement. He decided to ignore it. He returned to the second-floor bedroom of the Hall of the Overlord to take a nap. Throughout the process, Radiant Saintess Tiffany accompanied him. It was also at this time that Lin Yu truly understood the meaning of Saintess and experienced a different kind of feeling. Lin Yu had originally planned to take a nap, but in the end, he didn't manage to sleep. After accompanying Radiant Saintess Tiffany for more than 2 hours, he was suddenly alarmed by the anomaly outside the Hall of the Overlord. A brilliant light shone through the window, illuminating the messy bedroom. Even though it was daytime with the sun shining brightly, the light was still dazzling and captivating. You should rest for a while. After finishing, Lin Yu got up and walked out of the bedroom, leaving Tiffany, who was covered in sweat, curled up in the blanket, her bright eyes like water. He arrived outside. The floating elf light ball that was originally suspended in midair had disappeared. Underneath the dark elf mother tree stood a beautiful figure wearing a white dress. She had the appearance of an elf, tall and slender figure, as well as long silver hair. The aura emanating from her was different from any other dark elf. It was of the holy and light attributes. It was hard to imagine that she was an elf born from the dark elf mother tree. If it were the mother tree of the nature elf clan, it would still be somewhat possible. She's not an ancient great elf? Lin Yu was somewhat surprised. Ancient great elves have wings on their backs, resembling butterfly wings, as can be seen from the wings behind Doris. But this figure did not have wings behind her. Just at this moment, this figure walked quickly towards Lin Yu and knelt down excitedly and reverently as soon as she approached. "Praise you, great Lord of Holy Light. The Holy Light Elemental Elf greets you." As she spoke, a virtual information panel appeared in Lin Yu's field of vision. Elemental Elf. Attribute: Holy Light, Holy and Light. Initial level: Saint rank peak. Growth potential: Mid-level True God. Introduction: This is an elemental elf that has integrated the powers of Holy and Light, and even among the elemental elf clan, it is at its peak. Advertisement: Looking at the information panel of this Holy Light elemental elf in front of him, Lin Yu suddenly felt a sense of surprise. Doris, who awakened the bloodline of the ancient great elf, had a growth potential limit of only a lower-level True God. But this Holy Light elemental elf had a growth potential limit that reached the level of a mid-level god. This made him feel like he had received an unexpected surprise. "Get up." Lin Yu raised his hand slightly and said to the Holy Light elemental elf in front of him, From now on, your name is Lilith. The holy light elemental elf, Lilith, exclaimed excitedly, "Thank you, Lord of Holy Light, for giving me a name." Lin Yu nodded slightly. Then he looked at the platinum dress worn by the holy light elemental elf. Seemingly sensing the Lord of Holy Light's doubt, Lilith quickly said, "My lord, this dress was condensed using the power of holy and light. I don't like tree skirts." Tree skirts are the initial equipment of the Dark Elves. Apart from being sexy, they have no attack or defense capabilities. So far, the Dark Elf Mother Tree has already given birth to thousands of Dark Elves, but Lin Yu hasn't sent any of them out to hunt monsters mainly because there is no suitable equipment for them. Will this kind of dress disappear after a few strikes? Well, the elemental elf of Holy Light pondered for a moment. Then she nodded and said, "Reporting to my lord, there is a possibility, for example, like this." As soon as she finished speaking, her platinum-colored gown disintegrated into pure divine and luminous magic, disappearing from sight. What appeared was a perfectly pure white body. Lin Yu was instantly confused. The corner of his eye caught a glimpse of the elven forest with its silver frost pendant. He took out a set of transcendent-grade equipment from the town's warehouse and handed it to the holy light elemental elf, who showed no hesitation in front of him, saying, "Put it on and completely solve this problem." "Praise the Lord. Thank you for your gift." The holy light elemental elf, Lilith, was very happy. In front of Lin Yu, she put on the transcendent set. Lin Yu said, "This equipment set's grade is too low and cannot match your saint rank peak power. When you have better equipment in the future, you can change it yourself." The equipment problem for ordinary troops needs to be solved by the Overlord. Unlike his angels, who have their own growing angelic sets that can improve as the angel's level increases. "Thank you, my lord." Lilith respectfully saluted. Advertisement. Lin Yu then said, "Tell me about the special abilities of all elemental elves." Lilith said, "Reporting to my lord, elemental elves are controllers of elements, possessing perfect elemental compatibility and affinity, as elemental elves themselves are condensed from elemental power. Even without becoming gods, elemental elves can live forever. Even if their physical bodies are slain, elemental elves can resurrect using the elemental laws of the world. Elemental elves' attacks can be greatly enhanced by the elements of the world, and they can freely use elemental magic at the level of forbidden curses. In terms of comprehending the laws, we have an absolute advantage compared to other races. Becoming a god is very simple for elemental elves. In summary, elemental elves are celestial pets. This is something other intelligent races envy. However, at the same time, the drawback of elemental elves is also obvious, which is their extremely small number. Compared to the elemental elf race, the low-fertility dragon race can be considered highly productive. At this moment, Lin Yu had a deeper understanding of elemental elves. "Lilith, you are only one step away from advancing to demigod and mastering the laws. You should also work harder. Go, follow the guidance of your faith and head to the battlefield of the giant kingdom." "Yes, my great lord of holy light." As soon as she finished speaking, the holy light elemental elf, Lilith, turned into an aurora and disappeared into the distant sky in an instant. Her speed was so fast, just like a beam of light. Not long after the departure of the holy light elemental elf, Lilith, Lin Yu suddenly received a message prompt from the myriad world's floating island. "Congratulations, Lin Yu Overlord. Your angel legion has captured the giant kingdom. Please choose whether to destroy or occupy. Special reminder: if you destroy the giant kingdom, your territory will become the mortal enemy of the giant race. Other local forces in the Dark Forest will also see your territory as a target that must be eliminated." Captured? Lin Yu felt delighted. Without hesitation, he immediately chose destroy. Soon, another message prompt from the myriad world's floating island appeared. "Congratulations, Lin Yu Overlord. You have successfully defeated the local transcendent level force, the Giant Kingdom. You have obtained 159 blueprints of the magic cannon, 3 blueprints for upgrading territory buildings, 1 blueprint for upgrading city walls, 1 blueprint for the construction of a faith idol, and 40 blueprints for watchtowers. You have obtained a rainbow crystal-level stronghold treasure chest. Your name will resound throughout the floating island, and both professionals and local races will remember your name. Almost at the same time, the rulers of all the local forces in this world received a reminder from Myriad World's floating island. For the local forces, the world rules of Myriad World's floating island are the supreme gods. Naturally, they dare not be careless when it comes to reminders from the supreme gods. Therefore, whether it is the Beast Emperor of the Beast Clan Court, the Dragon Emperor of the Dragon's Nest, or the Elf Queen of the Nature Elves, they all know that there is a rapidly developing foreign territory in the Dark Forest. The strength of this foreign territory has become so powerful that it has destroyed the Mountain Giant Kingdom. At the same time, Lin Yu's name is also remembered by them. To put it simply, Lin Yu is already famous in this world. All the local forces in the 8 major regions, they all know him and know his territory, Paradise Town. Many local forces immediately held emergency meetings to discuss how to deal with the threat from Paradise Town. In addition, relevant world announcements also appeared in the island's chat channel. Looking at the rows of top golden characters, all the professionals were shocked and expressed disbelief. Is this true? Why does it feel like a dream? Isn't the Mountain Giant Kingdom a local transcendent level force in the Dark Forest? It is said to have a demigod presiding over it, and there are also a large number of saint rank and transcendent rank powerhouses. Such a powerful local force was actually captured by Lin Yu's army? This is too incredible. Damn, how strong is Lin Yu's Angel Legion? They defeated a kingdom-level force. The next step is to truly dominate the Dark Forest, right? This is obvious. Previously, Lin Yu claimed that he would conquer the Dark Forest and establish a kingdom within 20 days. I didn't believe it at first, thought Lin Yu was bragging, but now I have to believe it. You're not the only one who got slapped in the face. Indeed, I didn't believe it at all back then. Lin Yu is too strong. Those veteran overlord professionals from a year ago still haven't conquered a kingdom-level force, but Lin Yu did it in less than half a month. The difference is too big. Have you even looked at what kind of troops Lin Yu has? And those veteran overlords, there are only a little over 100 of them, including those who have already died. Moreover, their troops are at most high-level troops, so their development speed naturally cannot be fast. Indeed, the first to go may not necessarily go the farthest. With Lin Yu's current strength, even if he returns to Blue Star, he is already invincible. Isn't that obvious? The highest rank professionals revealed on Blue Star are only at the Saint rank. Lin Yu has already captured a transcendent level force with a demigod presiding over it. He must be invincible. I wonder what level Lin Yu is now? He most likely has already advanced to the Saint rank. Envious. I'm only level 6 now, not even a high-level professional. Advertisement. I'm only level 5. Compared to the lively chat channel on the island, the Great Alliance channel, which gathers a large number of alliance leaders and apex-level overlords, is silent. They established the Great Alliance channel, largely to deal with Lin Yu, who has the angel troops. But now they suddenly realize that they can't even see Lin Yu's back. In simpler terms, they have been left far behind. Brothers, the time has come that concerns our life and death. We must unite to resist Lin Yu. Don't talk nonsense. Only us overlord professionals can unite. After all, with Lin Yu here, we have no chance of becoming the island lord. As for the alliance leaders, can they unite? Don't be fooled by the fact that they have tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of alliance members. They are useless at all. At this stage, besides crowdfunding and borrowing 10,000 gold coins, what use do those alliance members have? Even exchanging resources for a high price is restricted by the floating island. There's nothing we can do about it. If we have to blame someone, blame Lin Yu for developing too fast. According to normal circumstances, give us a few months of development time. When professionals are promoted to king level and transcendent, we can build an alliance base and gather alliance members together. But now, no one has this ability. The majority of combat professionals are still fighting for survival. How can they gather their strength together? I have to say, Lin Yu is really abnormal. In fact, we Overlord professionals are also struggling. Each of us is facing the problem of being blocked by king-level creatures at the door. This is the first test given to us by the floating island. I heard that Sikong Jun is even worse. He was blocked by a king-level skeleton mage for several days, and more than 100 Dark Phoenix troops were captured and turned into skeleton phoenixes. They still haven't found a solution. Laughing so hard. I wonder how Lin Yu passed this test back then. In the channel, the leaders of the alliances, apex-level overlords, and high-level overlords all sighed. For them, Paradise Town is no longer a relationship of pressure and motivation, but despair. To put it bluntly, all the people and forces in the channel combined cannot surpass Paradise Town now. They are all very clear about this. Lin Yu has become an unshakable mountain in front of them. At Xiaqingyue, Beauty, what have you been up to these past few days? Haven't seen you around. Not in the mood. In my opinion, you should destroy your territory and leave Dark Forest with your Frost Dragon Legion. It doesn't matter if you lose your Overlord status. Come to me. I'll protect you. You're thinking too much. I'm busy hunting and earning gold coins with my Dragon Legion. I don't have time to chat with you guys. Advertisement. What? Are you really planning to confront Lin Yu? At Xiaqingyue Xiajie, don't do something foolish. Paradise Town is invincible now. Agreed. Why confront him? I have already submitted a surrender intention to Lin Yu, and he has agreed. After he establishes his kingdom, I can join as an overlord and become his subject. Oh my god. Xiajie, don't mess around. You're an apex-level overlord. How can you just surrender like that? In the face of Lin Yu's angel army and city of angels, what use is an apex-level overlord? I don't want to die, nor do I want to lose my overlord status, so surrendering is the only option. All the alliance leaders and apex-level overlords fell silent. Xiaqingyue's surrender struck them hard, but they couldn't say anything to blame her. Perhaps if they were in her shoes, they would make the same choice. After all, the identity of an apex-level overlord is very important. It relates to the path to godhood and the limits of growth. After joining Lin Yu's kingdom, you have to hand over 70% of your daily earnings. Are you willing? Compared to losing the identity of an apex-level overlord, what does that matter? Each poor person has their own way of living. As long as I can continuously summon dragons, I have the opportunity to become a powerful deity. Furthermore, with Lin Yu's protection, it will be safer to go to the Myriad Worlds battlefield. The Myriad Worlds battlefield is full of true gods, much more cruel than the floating island. Looking at the messages sent by Xiaqingyue, some of the alliance leaders and apex-level overlords in the channel actually found it reasonable. Also, I have discovered a problem. My energy bar has reached 99%, but it's difficult to make any further progress. After inquiring with the floating island, I found out that the interdimensional teleportation array to Blue Star has collapsed. In other words, we can't go back. Oh? They had never considered this problem before. The mighty floating island actually caused the interdimensional teleportation array to collapse. Isn't this a joke? Almost at the same time, the professionals in the channel all communicated with Myriad Worlds floating island, and the answers they received left them completely dumbfounded. They really can't go back. This is like catching turtles in a jar. Damn, you're the turtle. Your whole family is turtles. We're trapped beasts. Should we surrender too? Ask Lin Yu if he accepts overlords from the undead camp. If he does, I can cooperate with him and convert my undead troops into holy light undead. Is there such a thing as holy light undead? We have to give it a try. Paradise Town, Hall of the Overlord. Lin Yu is receiving rewards from Myriad Worlds floating island. The rewards for capturing Mountain Ridge Giant Kingdom are still on the battlefield, and what he received is the reward for conquering the first kingdom-level local power. Glory points, 5,000. Reputation points, 20,000. And 10,000 gold coins. These are additional gains and are not included in the Stronghold treasure chest. After opening the Rainbow Crystal-level Stronghold treasure chest from Giant Kingdom, he can still receive a large amount of glory points, reputation points, and gold coin rewards. It's almost there. Wait until this war is completely over. The glory points I have accumulated can be exchanged for the Origin Scepter. Origin Scepter is the divine weapon level equipment that Lin Yu has been longing for. As for the divine weapon curse of the Lich King that he originally set his sights on, he has long forgotten where it went. Just at this moment, Lin Yu suddenly received a message from the Bright Village chief. The message described the discussions in the Grand Alliance channel. Even though he had already left the channel, many Bright Camp overlords were still there. Those Bright overlords collect important information and then report it to Lin Yu through the Bright Village chief. Many Alliance masters and Apex-level overlords know that they are spies. But without evidence, they dare not kick them out casually. As for now, they dare even less. They still hope to rely on those Bright overlords and establish a connection with Lin Yu. Through the information reported by the Bright Village chief, Lin Yu also learned that in the Grand Alliance channel, there are many Alliance masters, Apex-level overlords, and high-level overlords who want to join his camp like Xia Qingyue. Officially, it is to join, but behind it, they are relying on his strong backing. In simpler terms, they are afraid of being killed by Lin Yu's angel ambassador. These people have great ambitions and do not want to die in this small floating island world without even seeing the myriad world's battlefield. And among these people, there are even overlords from the undead camp. And they mention the idea of the holy light undead. The overlords of the undead camp are very clear that Lin Yu's angel is the terminator of evil and darkness, and if they don't change their army camp, they will eventually be burned to ashes by Lin Yu's angel. As for how to change, they don't know. They can only pray that Lin Yu has a way. Advertisement. Holy light undead? Lin Yu muttered to himself. He was somewhat surprised by the whimsical ideas of these undead overlords. But it's not impossible to try. Lin Yu wants to see if his power of creation is truly limitless, and he hopes to gain a deeper understanding of the power of creation through this kind of unconventional action. If he can comprehend the power of the laws in this matter, it would be even better. When the undead creatures attack at night, I can capture a few undead to try. Without thinking too much, Lin Yu simply replied to the Bright Village chief and returned to the second floor of the Hall of the Overlord to continue dealing with his matters with the Radiant Saintess. Originally, he had a feeling of unfinished business. After being stimulated by the radiant elemental elf, Lilith, he became even more restless. Fortunately, nothing happened, so he can fight another 300 rounds. As a strong Saint rank mid-level expert, his energy can be said to be inexhaustible, and his regenerative ability is also very astonishing. Over 1,000 kilometers away, in the Mountain Ridge Giant Kingdom, the battle is equally intense. Looking around, the capital of the Mountain Giant Kingdom has been turned into ruins. All the statues, buildings, and even the forbidden areas of the capital have collapsed. The destruction of the capital represents the end of the Mountain Giant Kingdom. However, on the battlefield, there are still some mountain giants who are resisting stubbornly. They are the fanatic believers of the true God, belonging to the Titan. Even if they witness their true God being killed with their own eyes, and even with the persuasion of King Vaughn, they still refuse to surrender. For these mountain giants, the Angel Legion's approach is physical purification. Since they insist on joining the embrace of the Titan clan, the angels don't mind sending them on their way. Of course, such fanatic believers are ultimately a minority. The reason why the battle is still intense is mainly because there are a large number of mountain giants from other cities and tribes gathering in the capital. They have not experienced the series of heart-wrenching events before. Their will and faith remained firm. When they saw the capital turned into ruins, all these mountain giants went into a frenzy, roaring and rushing into the battlefield, fiercely fighting against the Angel Legion. However, as the battle continued, there were fewer and fewer mountain giants on the battlefield. Advertisement. As for the aerial warfare, it had long since ended. Under the siege of the high-ranking Angel Legion, thousands of high-ranking members of the kingdom, Saint-rank powerhouses, and transcendent mountain giants died or surrendered. Not a single one escaped. With the war shackles set up by the Dominion angels in the sky, these mountain giants couldn't escape even if they wanted to. The entire army was wiped out in one battle. According to incomplete statistics, more than 2,000 powerful mountain giants surrendered after the war, and all became followers of Lin Yu. Among them, there were more than 60 saint-rank powerhouses. In addition to the surrendered mountain giants from the capital, Lin Yu made a fortune just by converting them into his followers this time. After all, mountain giants are considered apex-level creatures. How much gold would it be to convert hundreds of thousands of apex-level creatures at once? At an unknown time, in the southeast direction of the capital ruins, the earth suddenly shook, ancient trees snapped. A massive number of figures rushed towards the battlefield from that direction. When the mountain giants on the battlefield saw this scene, their morale soared, and some even cheered, feeling that they were saved. Because all those figures were their kin. There were at least 100,000 of them. However, they soon became dumbfounded. The reason was simple. Those 100,000 mountain giants didn't seem to come to assist in the battle, but rather were being chased. They were in disarray. Some even dropped their weapons and didn't dare to stop and pick them up. Soon, the scenes appearing in the distance confirmed their speculation. A large number of black figures appeared on the distant horizon. Leading them were six-winged fallen angels riding hellhounds, followed by reorganized fallen angel legions. In the jungle below, there was an even larger army of mountain giants. All these mountain giants were converted followers, and the tens of thousands of mountain giants fleeing in front were their targets. One fleeing, two pursuing. They quickly arrived at the ruins of the capital. The holy angel army on the battlefield, together with the fallen angel legions in the rear, and the army of mountain giant followers, directly surrounded these mountain giants who refused to surrender. The war continues on a larger scale. With the addition of over 100,000 reinforcements, the number of mountain giants in the kingdom's camp has increased to nearly 250,000, doubling their overall strength. However, they are even more desperate now, because their opponents, in addition to the Holy Angel Army, also include the Fallen Angel Legion and the mountain giant followers who have joined Paradise Town. In terms of the size of the legions, the combined forces of Paradise Town now outnumber the kingdom's mountain giant army. They are outnumbered and outmatched in strength. How could they possibly win? Furthermore, even their allegiance, King Vaughn, has surrendered. Many high-ranking officials and powerful individuals in the kingdom have also fallen under the influence of the angelic faith. They are now like a headless dragon, or rather, a defeated army. Their complete annihilation is only a matter of time. Near the City of Angels, the elegant figure of Secretarian stands tall in the clouds. After dealing with the great prophet and persuading King Vaughn to surrender, she no longer participates in the battle. Because the remaining mountain giants are not worth her personal intervention. The City of Angels is the same. Due to its immense power, each round of bombardment inflicts significant casualties on the mountain giant army, which is not conducive to recruiting followers for the Lord of Holy Light, so they have ceased their involvement in the battle. Lady Angelia. At this moment, a massive figure emitting a strong aura of darkness, a fallen angel known as Gladys, approaches Angelia and respectfully bows. She has evolved into an 8-winged fallen angel, reaching the peak saint rank. Angelia glances at her and says calmly, "Your recovery speed is quite good." Gladys replies, "It all stems from the grace of the Supreme Creator. Under the protection of the Creator, I believe I will soon be able to reach my peak state again. Let's talk about it after we go to the Myriad Worlds battlefield." Angelia says, "The laws of this world are too weak to withstand the impact of great divine power. Even the condensation of a divine nature could potentially cause the collapse of the law and order." "I understand." Gladys nods. Like other angels, her goal is to ignite the divine flame in this world and reach the peak of demigod. Advertisement. Afterward, they will enter the Myriad Worlds battlefield together, condense their divine nature, and become deities. Angelia asks, "How is the Fallen Angel Legion performing?" "We are preparing to report to you." 8-winged Fallen Angel Gladys respectfully says, "We have captured all the mountain giant cities and tribes in the east and south, and have surrendered nearly 200,000 mountain giants. Now, The other fallen angel legions are leading the majority of mountain giant followers to attack the cities and tribes in the north and west. Barring any unexpected circumstances, we can completely end this war tonight. Angelia nods slightly and says, after the war ends, rest well. Perhaps tomorrow, we will attack the Bone Temple in the north. Understood. Gladys respectfully nods. Then she says, it seems that in the area where the Bone Temple is stationed, there is a buried corpse of a death god. A Nightmare Night team has already gone to search for it. Angelia says, it is still uncertain whether there is a death god's corpse. If there is, it would be best. Seize it, strip away its divinity, and offer it to our Lord. Gladys says, with the help of divinity, our Lord can easily ascend to demigod. Angelia lets out a soft, You may leave. Lead your legion to the western region. First, we need to deal with the giant kingdom city and the tribes there, and then we can take care of other local forces. Our next target is the Runkle Prairie to the west. Understood, Lady Angelia. Gladys respectfully withdrew. Before leaving, she handed Angelia several pieces of spatial equipment. Inside were the spoils of war from the fallen angel legion, including gold coins, equipment, blueprints, stronghold treasure chests, and basic resources confiscated from those cities and tribes. The spoils were so great that it took several pieces of transcendent-level spatial equipment to hold them all. Angelia collected these spatial equipment and prepared to hand them over to the Lord of Holy Light when she met him later. The reason for the delay was that the war in the capital city would not last long. At that time, the Grand Army of the Holy Angels would welcome the arrival of the great Lord of Holy Light on the ruins of the Giant Kingdom. The eastern part of the Dark Forest. It is the territory ruled by the Elf Garden. The natural elves here are the largest branch of the natural elf clan and have a kingdom-level influence. At this moment, in a beautiful courtyard full of blooming flowers. Advertisement. Elf Queen Brianna, with a noble temperament resembling a goddess of wisdom, was discussing matters with two figures. One figure was seated on the throne. Its body was shrouded in a mist-like necromantic power, making its face unclear, but giving off a very terrifying feeling. The other figure, holding a trident, stood in the center of a huge lake with waves rolling behind it. Faintly, one could see a long tail twisting in the waves. This was a woman with a snake-like tail. Her body was also wrapped in scales resembling purple gemstones. From her tail to her chest, it was all covered in snake scales. Above that was snow-white, jade-like skin, a charming and coquettish face, and a head of purple-red wavy hair. Her eyes were slender at the corners, with purple irises. It exuded both a sense of nobility and a hint of evil. It is said that the eyes of void demons are purple. The deeper the color, the purer the bloodline and the higher the status. And these two figures, the former was the ruler of the Bone Temple, the Lich King. The latter was the ruler of the southern region of the Dark Forest, the Naga Queen. There are rumors that Medusa and the Naga Queen look very similar. Both have a human body and a snake tail. The difference is that Medusa's hair is made up of twisted little snakes, while the Naga Queen's hair is human-like. At this moment, the faces of the three rulers were not good. Although Lich King couldn't see its expression, the rolling necromantic power around it could still indicate that its mood was very bad. The reason was simple. It had just learned from the Elf Queen that an angel army had attacked the Giant Kingdom, and then they received news that the Giant Kingdom had been captured by the Nether King. Those were angels. It was a lich. Wasn't this trying to take its life? As a lich, it could live forever, just like a deity. But when it encountered angels, even its bones could be purified. Just the thought of the possibility of an angel army coming to attack its bone temple made its scalp tingle and its heart tremble. How could its mood be good in this situation?
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe.